Yeah, if you think I'm going to jump in and just automatically talk over the top of the system, you'd be greatly mistaken. That is one of the all-time slow jams right there. All right, what's going on, my friends? Chad doing with you. The RipCityDrive live here from Moda Center as we get ready for Game 2 on this current 4-game homestand. And the Blazers, boy, this schedule down the stretch is very favorable. They took care of business by 35 over the hapless Nets on Monday in one of the worst NBA games I've seen in quite some time. The Brooklyn Nets should be contracted from the NBA and never be allowed to charge anyone money to watch them play basketball again. That is a bad basketball team. And tonight the Milwaukee Bucks are in town. It's Dallas on Friday and then the Wizards on Sunday. So 4 straight games at home, 1 win. You've got 3 more to go. You need to win each and every game against these teams who are focused on lottery position. That's the key. You've got to take care of business and then get ready for the 2 games against the Clippers. And I'll explain this play-in tournament again. It's not, too confusing, but if you're not accustomed to it, it can be a little bit unsettling. And I was doing a diagram, and I have terrible handwriting, and I cannot draw. I have no artistic skill whatsoever, like zero. I can't draw. I can't do any of that. So I was trying to do a diagram for a couple of salespeople at the building today at the iHeart offices on how the play-in tournament works. So right now, the Western Conference standings, you've got teams 1 through 6 who are locked in, and they'll be 1 through 6 in some combination. Oklahoma City, with just a few games left on the schedule, 3 games up on San Antonio, they'll be your number 1 seed. And they're on fire right now. They won 12 straight. They're the defending champs, and it's hard to imagine a team in the Western Conference having enough to beat them in a 7-game series. San Antonio's number 2. They're locked in at number 2, and that's where they'll be. So Oklahoma City and San Antonio will be 1 and 2 in the Western Conference. The real intrigue goes 3 through 6. You've got the Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and the Rockets, who are separated by a total of 2.5 games. Right now the Lakers are 3rd, followed by the Nuggets, followed by the Timberwolves, followed by the Rockets. Now, the top 6 is set in some order. The 7th team is the Phoenix Suns. And when you get to 7 through 10 are the teams that are in the play-in tournament. So right now you've got Phoenix, the LA Clippers, the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Golden State Warriors 7 through 10. Phoenix is locked in at number 7. They're 17.5 games back of Oklahoma City, but they're also 3.5 games up on the Clippers, and there's not enough time left for the Clippers to catch them, and they're also 4 games up on the Blazers. So 7th is locked in. It will be Phoenix. The real intrigue comes with 8 and 9 with the Clippers and Trailblazers. Number 10 will be Golden State, and they're really in the tank right now. They're a game and a half back of the Trailblazers, but Portland also has the tiebreak on Golden State, and they are 2 games back of the Clippers. So Golden State will be 10, Phoenix will be 7. So the real intrigue is the 8-9 situation with the Clippers and Blazers. Right now the Clippers are a half game ahead of Portland at 36 and 36. These 2 teams are going to play twice before the end of the regular season, one in Portland and one in Los Angeles. And I think Portland's going to have to win both games if they're going to lock up the 8. Now, does it really matter, the 8 or the 9? Well, possibly, if you want the Blazers to reach the postseason. So how this works is, in the play-in tournament, the 7th seed will host the 8th seed. Right now, that would be Phoenix hosting the LA Clippers. The winner of that game will move on to the playoffs and be the 7th seed and take on the San Antonio Spurs. What happens next will be the 9-10 matchup. Right now, that's Portland. They would host Golden State. The winner of that game will play the loser of the Phoenix-LA Clipper game, and then if you win that game, you become the 8th seed in the Western Conference playoffs. So right now, Portland being positioned at 9. If the play-in started tomorrow, Portland would get a home game and host the Golden State Warriors. And if they win that, they would take on the winner of Phoenix and the LA Clippers and play that game on the road. Now, the advantage of being in the 8th spot, you only need 1 win to get into the postseason. So you would play at Phoenix, and if you win, you're in as the 7th seed. If you lose, you would get to host the winner of Golden State and the LA Clippers. And if you win that game, you become the 8th seed in the Western Conference playoffs. So I hope that helps clear up some of the confusion with the NBA play-in tournament, which is still relatively new, and that's where the Blazers are at. So if they stay in 9, they're going to get a chance to host a playoff game in the play-in. If they jump up to 8, they'll be on the road and take on the Phoenix Suns. If they win that game, they're in the postseason. If they lose, they will get to host the winner of the 9-10 matchup. So that's what Portland is playing for right now. And the advantage, I guess what I like about the NBA play-in, it's very similar to like the wild card game in baseball, is that it adds a little more intrigue for those teams at the bottom, because in years past, if you were at 9 or 10, you may not have a chance to get into the playoffs. But now, because of the play-in tournament, you do. And so for the Trailblazers, with this young core of Denny Avdia, Donovan Clingan, Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, and obviously Shaedon is out right now with the injury, but these guys are getting a chance to play in more meaningful games down the stretch. They're having the opportunity to be a part of a playoff push, a playoff run, and if they get into the playoffs, they'll have a chance to get a taste of a first-round 7-game playoff series. So you get that experience of postseason and playing in bigger games. Now, the other advantage of playing in a playoff series, playoff basketball is totally different than regular season NBA basketball for a couple of different reasons. One, the games are officiated in a completely different manner than what you see in the regular season. That's pretty much the only sport where you have such a drastic change in officiating from regular season to postseason. They allow more physicality in the postseason. You can get away with more as a defender, so that's an adjustment for people who aren't accustomed to postseason basketball. But also, I think the other key is this. It's the preparation that is put in by teams when they get into the postseason and get ready for a 7-game series. Typically for these teams that are in the postseason, you get multiple days off before the playoffs begin, and you, as a coaching staff, will do a deep dive on your opponent for the first round and each successive round. And the deep dive is so much different than what you get in the regular season with the scouting report. And I've seen a scouting report. How it works is during the regular season, when you go into a locker room before a game, you'll see a basic scouting report that's posted up on the wall. And I remember seeing one when I was down in LA to cover a Laker-Blazer game once, and I was just intrigued by it. But it had a list of all the Lakers, their players, and a brief write-up summary on each player's strength and weakness and what they're looking to do when they have the basketball in their hands, or when they don't have it in their hands, what they're looking to do on offense. And I just remember what it said about Kobe Bryant, how he pretty much will go right and left equally, but it's a basic scouting report, because during the regular season, teams are traveling, they're in and out of different cities, they're playing a bunch of games. You don't have time for real practice. You've got your shoot-arounds. You don't have time for in-depth preparation on a nightly basis, especially when you have a week like this week where the Blazers are playing 4 games against 4 different opponents. It's insane. But in the postseason, you do a deep dive on your opponent, and you come up with an advanced scouting report where these teams know what you do well, what you don't do well, and if you have a weakness, it's going to be exposed. And especially over the course of a 7-game series, when you're getting a chance to get the same look at the same opponent on a nightly basis. So it's just much more in depth, and the competition is much greater. The intensity is different. The officiating is different. You got to learn how to win in the playoffs. It's not the regular season. It's different. And so that experience for these young guys and what they're having a chance to go through right now is great. Now, for us as Blazer fans, we love playoff basketball. The atmosphere in town, when the team is good, when they're competing for something, when they're in the postseason, there's a certain buzz that you can sense around town, which is nice. I think you all know what I'm talking about. And the vibe and intensity in the arena when the team is playing for something of significance is totally different. So that's what the Blazers are playing for right now. The way you have to look at it is this is a young team with a promising young core that's getting a chance to get valuable experience in big moments, and then you take that experience so when you get back the following season, you have a better understanding of what it takes to execute and get over in playoff basketball. And for the most part, in my lifetime, teams in the NBA don't just come out of nowhere and win a championship. You typically have to go through this process of learning. it's almost like a refining fire where you go in, you take your lumps, you go through and suffer some defeats, maybe some painful playoff losses, but through that, you get better and understand what it takes to win in the postseason. So that's where we're at. And for the Trailblazers right now, it's very simple. You want to win as many games of the final 9 that you can. You want to beat the Clippers twice and put yourself in a position to get to number 8. So you only need one win to get into the postseason. All right, we'll keep things rolling. I do appreciate your time. I hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so on the Rip City Radio text line at 88528. You can call the show at 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. Blazer Game Day is coming up at 5. Now, tomorrow, I'll be down at the BetMGM Sportsbook at Spirit Mountain Casino to take in the Sweet 16 tournament action. So come down and join me. You're not going to be working anyways. What are you going to go to work? How are you going to work and watch games? You're not. So come down to the BetMGM Sportsbook and hang out. Big cushy chairs, 18 LED screens. The big screen's at 165 inches. And if you want to get in on the action, they got everything you need down there. In-game wagering, parlays, teasers, totals, sides, futures. And I'll be on air live from 3 until 6, and I've got some goodies to give away. I appreciate your time. Rip City Drive live here from Moda Center on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. you need to use the show for something, I mean, that's why I'm here. The radio show is it's like a public service. I'm here to help you, all right? 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And you can reach out and say what's up. You can jump on board, and I am excited about tonight. I got to be honest with you, though. I hope the game's better than what we saw on Monday. That Brooklyn game was a disaster. I mean, I almost fell asleep in the first half, and I was working on air on the network. I'm trying to follow the game, but after the 40th free throw that was taken in the first half, I'm like, you know what, I'm out. This is too much. And the Nets are awful. What a disaster of a franchise that is. You know, you think it's bad being a Blazer fan, or maybe you've been a bit frustrated because it's taken a bit of time to get the team back in a position where they're going to win. Just remember, you could be a Nets fan. You could be a Jets fan. There are a lot of teams out there that have no interest in trying to do what is right and win games. At least we know the Blazers are positioned moving forward to get the job done the right way. And there you have it. But the Nets are a disaster. And the Bucks tonight, they're focused on the lottery. Dallas is focused on the lottery. And then the Wizards, they're basically like the Nets coming up on Sunday. These are all games that Portland's got to win. So what do I want to see from the Blazers? Well, a lot more than what I saw on Monday. I'm glad they got the win by 35, but don't let the final score mask what really took place. I've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks. I don't care where they finish in the play-in standings. They're 8th, they're 9th, or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What I care most about is that they're playing basketball the right way, that they're at their best. And for this team to be at their best, there's a few different things that they have to do. And I'm going to use the word again, margins. They've got to take care of the little things. They're not just good enough based on talent to show up and win games. They've got to do a few different things well to put themselves in a position to win games. So what are those other things? Well, your mindset, and we've heard Coach Splitter talk about this, but mindset. You know, how you approach the game, how you start the game, the type of energy you have when the game kicks off, making sure that you're in the right frame of mind and you come out with purpose. Now, their purpose and their energy was lacking on Monday. Now I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. The road home back-to-back is not easy. You're coming off the loss to Denver. You come back home to take on a crappy team in Brooklyn. I don't expect you to be 100% locked in. Let's just be real. They're humans. So I understand that. But tonight, they've had a chance to regroup and reset being back at home. You got the Bucks in town tonight. Portland is a monster favorite. This is a game they should dominate just like we saw on Monday. So I want to see them come out with more purpose and more focus. So how they start games is important. The other aspect of that is turnovers. They're the worst team in the NBA with turnovers by a country mile. Now, I'm not expecting perfection. I don't expect them to have a game where they have 2 or 3 turnovers, but limiting turnovers would be better. So instead of having 18 to 20, how about trying to trim that down to maybe 10 to 12? Valuing each possession, avoiding the live ball turnovers that turn into easy transition points for your opponent, and just being more intentional with each possession. Because now that you're in the stretch run and you're trying to battle for position, those things matter. And you talk about being a better team, a playoff team, and learning how to win in the postseason, valuing your possessions is important, and making sure that you come out with the right purpose is important. So I want to see that tonight. How you start the game with purpose, limiting turnovers. It was a problem on Monday with 24. The other issue, and this seems minor, but for the Trailblazers, it has cost them games this year. How about we limit the free throw misses? And it just drives me bonkers. Free throws are not difficult. We've all shot free throws before. They're freebies, and you need to be better with your percentage. In that game on Monday, the Trailblazers, for the game, 28 of 40 for 70%. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. 28 of 40. That means they missed 12 free throws. They've got to be better in that department. So starting the game with purpose, limiting turnovers, especially of the live ball variety, doing a better job with your free throws. Now, I think the other issue is being connected defensively. I asked Michael Holton about it at halftime. I thought their defensive performance in the first half against Brooklyn was poor. Michael agreed, and he was like, hey, they were just disconnected. So they've got to be better with their defense. Now, they're not the best defensive team in the NBA, but right now they're 16th, about middle of the pack in defensive rating. So that's an area where they can improve, but they've got to do a better job of communication, staying connected, and making sure that they're paying attention to detail. So that gives us 4 things right now. They obviously need to do a better job with mental approach, their mindset, how they start the games. That's critical. Limiting turnovers of the live ball variety, making your free throws, staying connected on defense, and I would say number 5, this is pretty obvious, but the rebounding is critical for them, especially the offensive rebounding, and thankfully they've got Donovan Clingan to take care of that because the guy's a badass, and he's a rebounding machine, and I think he's the best offensive rebounder in the game right now. The reason why the offensive rebounding for Portland is so critical is that they're not a good shooting team, and so when you miss shots, you've got to have a guy like Donovan down there to gobble up the rebounds like Pac-Man so that you can get those second chance point opportunities. And normally in the games where Portland's doing their best are the games where they're gobbling up offensive rebounds and they're converting their second chance point opportunities. So there you have it. Those are 5 things. Starting the game with purpose, limiting turnovers, making your free throws, staying connected defensively, and offensive rebounding. And when I talk about the margins, that's really the 5 things I'm discussing right there. Just be better detailed in your approach. And then outside of that, if you take care of those things and then you lose to a team because they just had a better night or maybe Kawhi Leonard went off, I can live with that. Little things that I'm noticing too, and they've had issues with this over the last couple of weeks when they've bogged down offensively. It's important for them, and I think this plays into the coaching staff, finding the right combination of guys to have on the floor together. But the spacing on offense, when they have poor spacing, you have those situations where guys like Scoot or Denny are trying to drive the ball into a set defense, and it bogs down the offense. They've got to make sure they create the proper spacing on the floor and then have the ball movement to go along with it. But when they're standing and watching and they don't have the proper, ball movement, the offense will bog down. So, again, these are all little details that they got to continue to focus on and work on. But, for the most part, I like where they're at. And it's going to be exciting to see how things continue to play out over the course of the regular season. The other good thing, too, that I think will promote success for them is that they are healthy aside from the Shaedon Sharpe situation. So they're getting a chance to play more and more with a full complement of players. And with that, you're going to get better continuity. And I would hope that with that continuity, you're just going to have better execution on both ends. So that's where I'm at with the Trailblazers. And that's what I'm looking at over the final 9 games of the regular season. But I went through the schedules. You can do the same thing. I looked at the Clippers' remaining games. They've got 10 left on their schedule. The Blazers have 9 games left on their schedule. And both teams are going to be playing a very favorable schedule down the stretch. So I do think, based on the remaining schedules for both teams, that you're probably going to need to win both the games against the Clippers if you want to jump up to 8th. The other big news, of course, baseball season is underway, and that's pretty exciting for all of us. I love baseball. I always make an effort each year to get out and, pursue a different series to go to. I've been doing a lot of Dodger games lately because I enjoy watching the Dodgers play baseball. But the one thing I'm excited about is, I was looking at the odds as we get ready to kick off the regular season. The Dodgers right now are like plus 220 to win the World Series. By far the prohibitive favorite. And I thought last year that they would challenge the Mariners' 2001 record for wins in a regular season. But I think I approached that the wrong way. What the Dodgers are doing that's unique with their roster management is that, and this is very interesting to me, and more teams should approach it this way, that they're not so concerned about their regular season record because they know they're going to make the postseason, the Dodgers do. So what they're going to do as they work throughout the regular season is that anytime they have a player who is banged up or a pitcher who's got any sign of arm trouble, they shut them down. Those guys go straight to the DL. They give them the proper rest, and they're focused on making sure that their guys are healthy when they reach the end of the regular season. Regardless of where they finish in the National League, they're willing to kick some games throughout the regular season to put themselves in a position to win come postseason time. And they do that by staying healthy. And so I think their win total is set at around 101 this year. So just watch how the Dodgers manage the regular season as the prohibitive favorites to win the championship. And that's what they're going to do. So I just don't think their focus, their determination is to try and set some type of all-time mark. I think they're more focused on whatever it takes to put themselves in a position to win a championship. And so that means if they need to load manage any of their players to make sure, some of the older vets are getting proper rest, they do that. Now, of course, Shohei Ohtani is going to pitch again this year, but they'll monitor him to make sure he's healthy. And you go down the line, and they'll see how they manage it. But very interesting. I mean, by far, the Dodgers are looked at as the team to beat. So it's going to be fun to watch. I still haven't decided what series I want to go to. I think I mentioned this yesterday. I'm pretty excited because the Hops are going to open up their home schedule. It's on April 7th. Their very first game in the brand new ballpark. I'm going to do the Rip City Drive live from Hillsboro that day. And then my buddy John Sukanik is going to come out, and we're going to do a Catch 365 on the new field before the game. And I think that's a great way to kick off the Hops home season with their brand new ballpark. And I asked John about it, and he was all about it. He's like, dude, I'm in, 100% in. I'm in. And I love that when you reach out to someone and you know they're going to be down and they don't even hesitate. They're like, oh, I'm 100% in. I love that kind of stuff. But I would say a couple of ballparks I'm looking forward to seeing or getting a chance to visit. I would like to go to Pittsburgh to check out their ballpark. It's beautiful, and I love the view from the stadium of downtown. So Pittsburgh is intriguing. I've been to New York for Yankee Stadium. I have been to Citi Field in New York where the Mets play, not for a Mets series, but I went for the Classic East concert that included Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, and the Eagles. And the stadium is spectacular, but it sits right there in Flushing. And it's funny because New York Stadium, or not New York Stadium, but Yankee Stadium is in a much better part of town. When you come out of the Citi Field, that's like these, and I'm not joking about this. There's like, you walk out and there's like businesses around there, they sell like the hubcaps, And it's just funny that that's the Mets, and then you've got the Yankees who are right there in the Bronx. But so I've been to both of those places. I've been to Colorado. Love visiting Colorado for Coors Field is beautiful. I enjoyed the tour there, and of course you go there during the summertime, and the weather's really nice. I've been to Arizona. Like, I like the indoor air conditioning there of Arizona, which is nice, but I prefer the outdoor ballparks. And Dodger Stadium, of course, is fabulous. San Francisco, where the Giants play right there on the water, is unreal. So we'll see. And I wouldn't mind going down to check out a A's game in Sacramento to see what it's like to watch a Major League Baseball game at some type of, like a minor league ballpark. That's funny to me. All right, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Today's been a hectic day for me. I had a meeting out in Beaverton this morning. The traffic is one of those days where I'm like, why can't the traffic be like this every day? There wasn't traffic over the bridge going into Portland. There wasn't traffic on the 405 around downtown and up the Terwilliger curves all the way out to 217. I didn't experience one stoppage. And then you realize, like, when there's no traffic, it doesn't take you long to get from North Vancouver to the west side of Portland. Why can't every day be like that? It was amazing. And I got my workout in. So right now, my body and my mind and my blood, everything is working at peak optimum levels. The problem is the post-workout crash is coming. And it's probably going to feel a lot like watching the first half of that Nets Trailblazer game on Monday. That was brutal. All right, we'll keep things rolling. I appreciate your time. Hope you're enjoying your day. Chris Burkhart's got game day coming up at 5, and the tip-off with the Bucks at 7 here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, I want to share this. We were talking about the LA Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and someone had alerted me that they were handing out like participation medals, like medals of completion before you finish the marathon, like at 18 miles. And my whole thought was, it's like, why would I accept a medal for running a marathon if I only ran 18 miles? The whole idea of running a marathon is that it's a freaking marathon. It's 26 plus miles. And if you finish it, then that's the reward. It's just amazing to me that someone would accept a medal for running part of a marathon. It's like, no, you signed up to run a marathon and you came up short. And there's nothing wrong with that if you couldn't get it done or it was just too much for you to handle. But you cannot accept a medal under those circumstances. Are you kidding me? Like, that just flies in the face of everything I believe in. Well, Joe DeCina, who is the CEO and founder of Spartan and the Death Race, like, this guy's a little more in line with the way I see things in terms of physical challenges in life. And he put out a newsletter after what he had seen with the LA Marathon. This is what he had to say. And I'm like, I read this. It's like, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So, Joe DeCina, take a listen to this. It says, Spartans. Last week, the Los Angeles Marathon did something strange. Organizers gave runners an option. If the heat got too intense, they could stop at mile 18, head to the finish, and still receive the same 26.2-mile finisher medal. The explanation was safety, and no one should die for a race. But a quiet line was crossed. A marathon is an agreement with reality. 26.2 miles, not 18, not, quote, most of it, all of it. Over the last decade, endurance racing has shifted toward pageantry and photo ops. The medal has become the point rather than the transformation that happens between mile 18 and 26. Anyone who has run a marathon knows miles 1 through 18 are just the warm-up. The final miles are the real test, where your brain starts bargaining and your legs want to quit. That is where the marathon actually begins. Compare that to a Spartan race. After the finish line, we often point runners toward a quiet sign. Extra mile. It is optional. There is no crowd, no cameras, and no second medal. You do it simply to see what happens when you keep going. The hardest part of endurance isn't the distance. It is the moment when nobody is watching and quitting would be completely reasonable. That is where the hard way begins. Modern culture wants to smooth that over and ensure everyone leaves with a shiny object. But the extra mile isn't about fitness. It's about identity. It asks, when the reward is already guaranteed, do you still push further? The medal should mark the suffering. It should never replace it. Here's to the hard way. Signed, Joe. Bingo! That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that is, I was thinking about this the other day, and maybe some of you are the same way. I know this is how I'm programmed, but I was thinking back through all these different things that I've had a chance to engage in throughout the course of my life. And what I came, because I was trying to figure out, like, what is it I like? Someone ever asked you that, like, hey, what do you like? What are your interests? So I started thinking about this, and what I came up with is that I find pleasure and enjoyment, the most pleasure and enjoyment in those activities that I do that require that I pay a price. That there's investment that goes into whatever it is that I'm doing. And then through that work and through that effort, when you experience some progress, like, that's what I truly enjoy. And I experienced that with the game of golf. Like, I've put a lot of time in over the last, 6+ years. The practice, the constant playing during the spring and summertime, the work with my coach and the golf lessons, but most importantly, working through the struggles of having not just one bad round, but 2 to 3 or 4 weeks where you can't figure it out, and having to find a way to see through that and continue to grind and put in the work. And then you notice the progress. I also have noticed that with I mentioned this before, but the 2 times I did reach the beach, where you ride from Portland out to the coast. And I'm not some type of like big-time cycler, but I have done a couple of long rides. And the true pleasure and the hardest part of the race was like the final like 15 miles, because I got over the mountain range right there past Spear Mountain Casino as you're heading out towards Lincoln City. And I pedaled all the way up the mountain range, and it was hard as hell. And my legs were cramping. I was crying as I was pedaling up the hill. Like, I was in a lot of agony. And then when you get to the top of the hill, I felt like this incredible rush and this, it was like a natural high, like a runner's high. So you coast down the hill, and then there's your last stop or break before you take off for the final leg. But the hard part is that after that, that stretch over the mountain range and after the final stop, when I got back on the bike, that final 15 to 20 miles was brutal, because you're into a headwind and you're not going up the mountain range, but there's like a steady grade, and it was flipping hard. And my legs were cramping, and like I wanted to stop, but I didn't. So that way when you cross the finish line, you had that experience. But and I noticed that too with bodybuilding. Chris Burkhart's done bodybuilding shows before, and I've done several of them. But it's like what Luke and I talk about. Luke is my workout partner, has been for over 30 years. That it's the preparation and the process and the ground cover work to get to competition day. It's not about getting up on stage. It's, can you look back at the last 3 to 4 to 5 months and all the different things that you did with your nutrition, your training, and the efforts you put in? Did I do everything in my power to be in the best possible condition that I could be in for this moment? And if you answer yes to that, then you win already. But I love that. Getting a finisher medal 18 miles in to a 26.2 mile marathon. That's incredible. Over the last decade, endurance racing has shifted toward pageantry and photo ops. The medal has become the point rather than the transformation that happens between mile 18 and 26. Anyone who runs a marathon knows miles 1 through 18 are just the warm-up. The final miles are the real test, where your brain starts bargaining and your legs want to quit. That is where the marathon actually begins. So, yes, the bottom line is, even Joe agrees that you cannot be handing out finisher medals to people who don't finish the marathon. Did you finish? No. Why'd you get a medal then? Give that thing back. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive here from Moda Center. Chris Burkhardt has got game day coming up at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to try and convince him to join me on the program before he takes over with game day. And tip off with the Bucks coming up at 7 on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, what's going on, my friends? It's now 4 o'clock. Trailblazers are in action tonight as they continue their 4-game homestand at Moda Center. Milwaukee Bucks tip-off is at 7 o'clock. My man Chris Burkhart's going to have Blazer Game Day coming up at 5, live from Moda Center. Jeremy Grant listed as questionable for the game tonight. There are 9 games remaining for the Blazers. They are currently a half game behind the Clippers for 8th in the Western Conference play-in standings. 2 of their final 9 games on the schedule will be against the Clippers, 1 in L.A., and 1 scheduled for Moda Center. Tomorrow, we're going to kick off the Sweet 16. Join me at the BetMGM Sportsbook at Spirit Mountain Casino. I'm going to be live from 3 until 6. There'll be food and drink specials. I've got giveaways, and we can take in all of the college hoop action on 18 LED screens and a big screen at 165 inches. It is your place to bet on college sports, parlays, teasers, totals, sides, and futures, in-game betting, whatever you want. It's right there at Spirit Mountain Casino. All right, this is a very bizarre story out of the LA Times. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua has denied a woman's claim that he made anti-Semitic remarks. Madison Attaby made the claim this week in an application for a temporary restraining order that was obtained by the Times. Attaby asserted in the court filing that during a group New Year's Eve dinner, Nacua made an offensive remark about Jewish people, quote, in a manner audible to her and others at the table. Attaby added that Nakua's vulgar, threatening, violent, and harassing conduct escalated as the evening progressed. After dinner, Attaby said she was in a car with Nacua and others when the Ram star bit her on the left shoulder, leaving a substantial bite mark that was photographed. Nacua is also alleged to have bitten the thumb of Attaby's friend so forcefully that she screamed in pain. Nakua's attorney, Levi McCatherine, said he has spoken to witnesses, including other Rams players who were present, who didn't hear Nacua make the anti-Semitic statement. He also said the biting was innocent, quote, horseplay. Puka denies the allegations in the strongest possible terms, McCatherine said. We will pursue all available legal remedies in response to these false and damaging statements. I didn't know the Wachutus were biters. The request for a temporary restraining order was denied by a L.A. Superior Court judicial officer, and a hearing is scheduled for April 14th. Quote, our office was contacted with demands of millions of dollars in exchange for not publicizing these allegations. McCatherine told TMZ this is a legitimate claim. It is blackmail. So there you have it. In December, Nacua apologized for an anti-Semitic gesture he made while appearing on a live stream with Aiden Ross on In3 On. So there you have it. That's the latest with Nacua. Obviously a great football player. Biting, though? Who bites? Do adults do that? Who bites somebody? The only time I've had a biting situation that was a little bit bizarre for me, so I remember, I think I was like 19 or 20, and maybe some of you guys can relate to this. I was a little bit too young and inexperienced to handle such requests, but I had gone out, and I still remember I went to dinner. I went out to eat at Northwest, and this was like a first-time date situation for me. So I go out to eat at Northwest. I think, was it Papa Haydn? It may have been Papa Haydn. And the date was good. The company was good. Everything was good. So we had a nice evening, and I drive back into Vancouver and pull into her driveway, and she was out in the country just a bit, so there weren't a lot of people around. It's not like we were in a neighborhood. It was kind of out, and the house was on its own land, so there weren't cars or people around. And, you know, a little kiss goodnight. So a little make-out session in the car. And then this is the moment that kind of ended the evening. She whispered in my ear, will you bite me? And I was like, you know, you hear something, you're like, I think I heard this, but maybe that's not what I heard. And then I was like, huh? And she repeated the request, and I was like, no, I can't do that, actually. No, I cannot do that. I cannot Puka Nakua you right now in the car. And I didn't even know who Puka Nakua was then, but I know one thing. I cannot bite somebody if requested to do so. It scared me, and that pretty much ended the night. So there you go. That's my experience with that. But a bizarre situation nonetheless. He bit her friend on the thumb, and it was so hard that she screamed, according to reports. I don't know whether to believe it or not, but it's just bizarre when you see those type of stories. I know one thing, Nakua is a flat-out baller on the football field. Telephone number 503-248-0620. You can reach out if you'd like. Baseball season's about to kick off and get underway, which is great. And the Blazers right now are right in the middle of this Western Conference play-in race, which is wild. And I'm excited for the young guys getting a chance to get this type of experience. Now, I would like to see them play better basketball than what we saw on Monday night. At 24 turnovers against Brooklyn, are you kidding me? You're going to miss 12 free throws, turn it over 24 times, and then come out with kind of the lethargic approach. Like, it's fine. You can do that against Brooklyn. They're so bad, you're going to pound them into submission, and they did. And I thought the start of the second half was much better. What my whole point is that when you play teams like the Clippers twice, and you've got road games remaining against the Spurs and the Nuggets, and then you've got the play-in games, you're going to have to play better. That means with more purpose to start, being better defensively, more connected, making more free throws, and not turning the ball over at an alarming rate. That's all. And then once you do that, things should be good. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. One thing I did want to share with you, Sean Highkin is crushing it right now with his reporting, and he's been on the road covering the NBA owners meetings with an emphasis on getting some insight on the Trailblazers' new owner, Tom Dundon, who will be confirmed, and we're going to probably hear from him in the very near future. But he put together a piece, and I would encourage you going to rosegardenreport.com to read it. He went through and listened to hours of different interviews with Tom Dundon. And I think Sean's goal was just to get a better feel for what he's about and what we might expect as Trailblazer fans with the new owner coming in. And he shares those insights based on what he's heard, what's been repeated, what Dundon emphasizes, what you should expect. For example, one of the things that he said is that, Dundon is not a guy that would embrace the tanking mode. Like, that's against what he believes in and what he focuses on as an owner, where he believes that, sports is entertainment. That's the business. And you want to put an entertaining product on the floor, especially when you're asking people to come in and pay big dollars. The Brooklyn Nets obviously are not in the entertainment business because what they put out on the floor on Monday was a disaster. They're in the we're going to make you miserable business, not the entertainment business. That would be the Brooklyn Nets. So I would encourage you to read that, but he's also done some more reporting today, and this is in regard to Commissioner Silver with the NBA owners agreeing to expansion, which is going to usher in teams to Seattle and Vegas. So the Seattle Sonic fans will have their team back. Las Vegas will get a team, and more importantly for Blazer fans, we're going to have the I-5 rivalry back in business, which is nice. Now, according to Highkin, at his press conference in a meeting room at the St. Regis Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver gave his initial impressions of Dundon and the Blazers' new ownership group. Quote, "I'm just getting to know Tom. I've known him by reputation for a long time, not just through his ownership of the Carolina Hurricanes, but also through the other sports investments he's made. He's a go-getter," according to Adam Silver. "He's got a great reputation from having led a turnaround in the NHL. He has enormous passion and spirit. He wants to be successful both as a businessman in Portland, and he wants to be successful with the team on the floor." Well, Highkin continues. Silver also gave some thoughts on the proposed $600 million funding package for updates to Moda Center, which has been passed by the Oregon State Legislature and is currently being negotiated with the Portland City Council and Multnomah County leaders, along with a proposed 20-year lease extension. Since the sale was announced, some have speculated that it could lead to a new owner attempting to move the team to a different market. Much of the wind has been taken out of the sails on any potential relocation talk by headlines news out of this week's meetings. The NBA has finally received the green light from owners to move forward with exploring bids for expansion, with teams in Seattle and Vegas to start playing as soon as the 28-29 season. Silver reiterated the need for Moda Center updates to happen, but he spoke at length about Portland's importance to the NBA, a view he says Dundon shares, and Dundon himself has declined all interview requests until the sale closes next week. Quote, I see no reason why Dundon won't be successful in Portland, Silver said. I think he recognizes it's a unique opportunity. There are many different types of markets in the NBA, but when you have markets that are single sports markets, I should say, we also have a WNBA team coming to Portland right now, and that makes what needs to happen with the building even more important. You're getting to have two Major League Basketball teams there, so they'll need a new state-of-the-art arena to play in. The Moda Center needs an upgrade, and there's been a vote already to ensure that that will happen, but I'm a big fan of the market. Later, in response to a question about the potential expansion to Seattle, Silver brought up the benefits of having two teams in the Pacific Northwest instead of one. Quote, as Tom Dundon comes in and we get a revamped Trailblazers and an upgraded arena, I love the rivalry that they've had historically with Seattle. This isn't a reason to expand, but it makes our schedulers' lives a lot easier. And if you have a team in Seattle as well as Portland. So there you go. After the press conference was over, Silver spoke for a few minutes with two Portland-based reporters who came to New York for the meetings, myself and Joe Freeman of the Oregonian, and went into more detail about Dundon's interest in keeping the team in Portland, the league's feelings on the proposed Moda Center renovation project, and the future status of embattled head coach Chauncey Billups, whose trial date for the gambling-related allegations he's facing is set to begin in November. So there you have it. That's the latest. And it's good news because everything's on board, or I should say on pace for the Blazers to get the funding necessary to get the arena renovations done. And with that will come a 20-year lease. And that's going to keep the Trailblazers in town for the foreseeable future, which is very good for the market. And then we'll see how things shake out from there. But go to rosegardenreport.com. Sean's doing a great job on this. And I love that he went through to listen to all the different interviews to give some insights on what we should expect from Dundon. All right, we'll keep things rolling. Chris Burkhardt's going to join me next. And we got the tip-off coming up at 7. Blazers hosting the Bucks tonight. And Chris Burkhardt's going to have game day at 5. Join me tomorrow at Spirit Mountain Casino. I'll be there from 3 until 6, live on the show, inside the BetMGM Sportsbook. Big cushy chairs, open seating. We'll be watching the Sweet 16 action, and if you want to get in on the action, they've got everything there in the BetMGM Sportsbook that you could possibly want. All right, if you want to reach out to me, 503-248-0620. You got the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, Chris Burkhart, host of Blazers Game Day, is with me right now. He's going to take over coming up at 5 o'clock. I got busted again, too. Stacy Lynn, I haven't even responded this time. I had Colin in studio again yesterday, and because those morons who are fixing the building right now doing the renovation, they threw away my stuff. It took away my extra set of headphones that I give to guests. And so every now, when Colin comes in, I borrow Stacy Lynn's from the K103 studios. I got busted a couple of weeks ago, and I had to admit that it was me. And I did it again yesterday. Colin came in, and I forgot to take the headphones back. And I was so ashamed of myself that she sent me an email when I woke up this morning, and I can't even respond. I'm so embarrassed. So I am a loser.
Well, I came in last week to do game day, and I had been traveling for OSA, so all my stuff in my bag was not where it was supposed to be because I take stuff out and rearrange. Anyway, I didn't have any of the golden adapters, and I call them golden because those are gold.
Yeah,
the adapters that we need. I didn't have one, so I'm like, well, Brendan, either we're just going to host and I can't hear. That's fine. We'll get through it. I'm going to go see if there's a headset real quick. I ended up finding one in the Eagle studio, and I took the headset. And Brendan goes, make sure it gets back. And I go, what's the worst that could happen? I go, if I forget to put it back and someone sends a mass email, I'm just going to respond back. Have you asked Chad about it?
I know. So I feel like a moron, and you're right. Whatever. But anyways, this is another classic example too, and we were laughing about this. Our engineer, our iHeart engineer who works out of the Portland office, his name is Joe, and the guy's awesome. Like, he's very helpful, very kind. Anytime you need him, he's always there for you, but I need him really bad right now, and he's not available. I sent him an email saying, hey, can you please fix the computer, get me a new tower in the talk studios for KPOJ? And this is the response I get back. It's an auto reply on the email. It says, I am traveling and have limited access to email, so responses may be delayed. For assistance, please create a trouble ticket and gives me the email address. I hate creating trouble tickets because they're a pain in the ass. And you thought it was funny that he had that response that access to email is limited.
It is. It's 2026. Unless you're taking a vacation, go hike the Amazon, you have access to email. Most of us respond to or read our emails like when we're taking a dump. So let's be completely honest there. But also, it is annoying that you have to fill out a ticket. See, you pick on me, but that's corporate life. Like, oh, you have an in-house engineer who could fix your problem. Well, instead of going and asking him to fix it, please fill out the ticket so someone from corporate in New York can read it and call you back in 3 to 4 business days.
No, I don't give you a hard time, but you are the classic example of the squeaky wheel. Because Chris, no matter what it is, anything that comes from corporate, he's going to chime in, and I know he's going to do it. In fact, we got the email that came out about changing your signature on your emails.
Oh, gosh.
That would set you on fire. I knew as soon as I forwarded that Chris was going to be pissed.
Hey, so many problems to deal with, but make sure your email signature's dialed in, guys. It gets me all the time. Oh, yeah.
No, those things are annoying. It's not like, especially in today's world, it's not just iHeart, it's like every business. We're all wearing like 20 different hats, doing multiple different things, and yet you get this priority email that comes out about your email signature. It's like, get the bleep out of here.
Yeah, urgent news. And oh, sorry.
Like, if you want to know an example of a bad boss, like, that's it. Well, get off your whole email signature nonsense. It's so ridiculous, man. Seriously.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I'm just saying, I look at some of those emails like the training stuff. That last training video we did that we have to do every year, it took me like 2 hours.
It says right there it's going to take 2 hours, and we have to do it. And this thing, they don't, like, here's the deal, corporate. I hope you're listening. Please don't fire me. But you know what? Take the time. Call me and Chad, and let's film some new material for these training videos. These are the same training videos that we've been pumping out and having us watch and read and take the test for
so
like
bad.
2 decades.
No, it's horrible. And the worst part is about these training videos, and I know other people at different companies have to deal with it. It's set up so you can't minimize the screen or it stops. It's so dumb.
Yeah, that's why I do. Full disclosure.
Have you figured out the workaround?
Full disclosure. I usually do these while I am at the office at the OSA. So I play them on my laptop off to the side while I do all my actual work on my other one. I just check back every once in a while, make sure the slide's gone through. Then I take the quiz at the end, get 100% because it's the most it's just, oh my gosh, it's just bangheadondesk.gif.
It's mind-numbingly bad. So the funny thing is, too, the other thing that they've been big on me about is we can set up these app pushes that go out to people who listen to our station on the iHeartRadio app. And so I can schedule these app pushes, which I do every week to remind people of, hey, we got the Blazer game coming on, we got this or that or whatever. And apparently during the summertime, they didn't feel like I was doing enough app pushes, and so they were getting up on my backside on that. And so finally I had a Chris moment where I was like, I'm so annoyed. I'm like, okay, you want app pushes? You're going to get that? And I'm not joking. I am setting company records for app pushes to where I'm getting emails from the bosses saying, great work, Chad. And my whole motivation to do it was just to shut everyone up. But like last month, app pushes for KPOJ, I had more pushes for our station than the entire LA market.
Oh my gosh, look at you. See?
So there you go.
I like it.
But I did it out of spite. It's like, you want app pushes? I got your app pushes right here.
So you just did them in abundance. I would have been like, hey, I'm going to send an app push that's going to remind everyone that in 10 minutes there's going to be an app push. Like, that's what I like. That's my train of thought.
All right, I got to ask you one more thing. I'm going to ask you about the Godfather.
I'm getting an email from Rich or something now, aren't I? Hey, Chris, I was listening to the RipCityDrive yesterday.
Who cares? They need to know. Because if we don't talk about it and let them know that they're bad at what they're doing, then they're going to think it's okay. And I think it's important for us to point that stuff out. Those training videos are over the top. They're out of control, completely out of control. Now, where is this? Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. Look, I love The Godfather. He's like family to me. But what is up with The Godfather and his love of Neil Olshey? Do you know?
I don't.
I just came across this today. I almost crashed when I read it. It says, this is him responding to a Blazer fan. Don't mention a leader who lived in the playoffs to one who has never been there. What is that? That is insanity.
Well, first off, yeah, Joe Cronin's never been there because he took over the team when they were in tank mode.
A heaping mess.
That's been their goal over the last few years was to tank.
And has Cronin not done a great job of restocking the cupboard?
I think that this rebuild
and collecting young talent,
doing wonderful.
Is the draft pick of Donovan Clingan look pretty good right now? What about the acquisition of Donovan Clingan?
Yeah.
Or Denny Avdia.
Denny Avdia is a great acquisition.
Kamara.
How about, I was going to say the Tumani Kamara trade. Even the fact that at the time, you waived DeAndre Ayton and you're like, what's going on? But it frees up the money to bring Dame back. Like he's making a lot of the right moves. And Neil Olshey, to his credit, like Neil Olshey did put the team in a spot where they were competitive. Every single year we were in the playoffs consistently. But he also had Damian freaking Lillard, who he took credit for drafting despite the fact he had only been on the job for like 3 weeks, and there was a lot of legwork done prior to that. So, I don't know. Our man Dwight definitely loves Neil though.
But what'd you see? You found what'd you find from the Jailblazer documentary?
Oh, from the Jailblazer documentary. It's funny because I was going through just to see, but there was a screenshot because they do one of those like super like quick cuts of all the headlines, and there was one about the Jailblazers ruining basketball, and it's by Dwight James, not Dwight James. Dwight James was the byline there on this Oregonian article.
So whoever put that together mistyped James instead of they put James in.
Well, I think these are all screenshots of. I'm wondering if Dwight actually had the Dwight James byline messed up back in the day, which I'm sure he did because it had happened more than once.
Did you ever work for a newspaper?
No.
All right, there you have it. Well, when does the Jailblazer documentary drop?
It's supposed to be April 14th, I believe. So right after the end of the season should be it's probably the same day that play-in games will be starting. So I'm excited. I want to see it. I thought Eric Gunderson made a good point, and there was that he's a little worried about this documentary because the way people want to frame the Jailblazer era, or the way a lot of the media back then had a very contentious relationship with that team that some of them still carry to this day with the team, that maybe they're going to frame it as how bad that team was. But for the youth growing up in this city who were too naive to understand what was going on when you get pulled over with marijuana. Those guys were gods. Like, to this day, Rasheed Wallace is still my favorite basketball player ever, and it was because of that era of Trailblazer fandom. So there's a large contingent of this fan base who absolutely loves that team and hopes that the doc does him justice.
Yeah, Rasheed is one of those guys where I loved his game, like so multi-talented in terms of what he could do on the block. He could play with his back to the basket. He could shoot from the outside. He was a terrific low-post defender. He could do so many different things, but I just feel like he never quite maximized his potential.
And that was the knock on him, right? That he never wanted to kind of jump up and be that guy. But Rasheed is also, like, to me, he's one of those classic, like, right guy, wrong era. Because if you had prime Sheed in this era where big men are spacing the floor,
That'd be great.
And he could do that and defend out there, he would be.
You know who he
one
reminds me of? He would be like Aaron Gordon is today.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Gordon has really developed into that type of player. Great defender. He's become a legit shooter from downtown, and he can play with his back to the basket. He's long, athletic. He does a lot of things. That's who Aaron Gordon reminds me a bit of Rasheed.
I loved Sheed. Loved that whole team. So the doc's going to be fun. I can't wait for it.
Now, he did play well with the Pistons when they won the championship on Chauncey's team and stuff.
Did you see Chauncey Billups tweeted yesterday for the first time in 4 years?
Yeah, I saw that.
Responding to something about TSA in Atlanta.
Yeah, the TSA is an absolute disaster right now.
Always has been, though. But
well, not if you have pre-check.
No, if you have pre-check, I guess. But they keep showing Atlanta. You ever fly through Atlanta? Even in the best of times, getting through security in that place.
No, I
brutal.
did. What happened is that when I was coming back after I went to visit my brother before he passed, I had to catch. I had my flights. I had flown into Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I drove back up to Chattanooga when I was coming back, and the flights were delayed, significant delays with Delta. And so I caught a flight finally out of Chattanooga. I had to go to Atlanta to catch my plane to Portland, and I had a lot of stuff going on the next day, so I needed to be back in town. And so what happened is when I boarded the flight, I knew I was going to land right around the time that my flight was boarding. And I know I've only been to the Atlanta airport a couple of times, and I know how big and messy it is.
Right.
I landed, jumped on the train, and I booked my way up to the gate right when they had made the final call. I barely made it. But that place is crazy down there. That's a massive airport.
It is wild. Now, back to Rasheed for a second. I always got to, every time I get a chance to tell it, I got to tell it because it's one of my favorite Blazer stories. Because I'm here. I'm sure you've heard this, but I'm here. It's Monday Night Raw. They're in town. The Blazers are sitting front row right by the ring. There's Ruben Patterson, Rasheed Wallace, everybody. Ric Flair comes on the big screen. It's on the Titantron, and he's woo! Everyone's wooing. He starts cutting a WWE promo on Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed is just laughing. Everyone's having a good time. Woo! You know. About 10 minutes later, show's still on. Like, we're halfway through the show. The Blazers get up, they hug each other, and they leave. What's going on? Like, why are they hugging? It's all weird. They all left. It's no Twitter or anything. This was early 2000s.
Did she get in the ring?
No. The guy behind me is on his cell phone. This was not a ton of cell phones, but also he goes, "You're effing kidding me." And I go, What happened? He goes, "The Blazers just traded Rasheed Wallace to the Atlanta Hawks."
Oh,
Rasheed Wallace was sitting ringside at a WWE Monday Night Raw getting roasted by Ric Flair, the legend of all legends, and then he got traded a few minutes later to Atlanta.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You never told me that story.
I couldn't believe it. It was so crazy.
My Rasheed story, this is like the first or second time ever, like back in like 99 when I went into the Trailblazers locker room, and I went up to ask Sheed a question, and I was nervous. I had no idea what was going on. And he just pulled his beanie cap, his North Carolina Tar Heels beanie cap down over his ears and was like, la, 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 and just pretended like I wasn't there. I was like, okay, that's how that goes. Not that I expected anything because that's just Sheed and I'm a nobody, right? But I was like, it kind of startled me. I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't want to answer any questions.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That happened in the Seattle Seahawk locker room. I walk in there, and every single time you walked by Marshawn Lynch, he'd eye you and follow you the whole time with the "Don't you dare stop" to try to talk to me. It was terrifying.
Yeah, and Beast Mode's a big dude. And then my experience, I went and covered a Bronco Redskin game. This is back in like 2013 when Peyton was there. And it was awesome because I went in the locker room, and Von Miller, he had a towel around his lower half, and then he put on a cowboy hat, no shirt. He turned around, he's like, "Let's go!" And then people got to sit there and ask questions, and I'm like, "Gosh, he's shirtless with a towel on a cowboy hat, answering questions." And he was having a good time. I'm like, "This is unbelievable."
I love it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Sheed was multi-talented, big time.
He was good. He was good, and he found his role there in Detroit, and was a big reason why that team won a championship. They were a great team. It's a great team. Up and down, man. Rip Hamilton was wonderful. Tayshaun Prince was young and great. Ben Wallace played like he was 7'9", not 6'9". The dude was just a defensive juggernaut. Like, that team was awesome.
You're right, though. I love the random check-in from Chauncey Billups on social media. We haven't heard from the guy in like months, right? That is still a crazy story. Like, what happened to your coach? He was taken away by the FBI after game 1 of the season. What?
The crazy part is
it's like a movie.
The crazy part is how long this season is. Like, you forget that was this season. That happened game 1. Like, I'll never forget what it was like waking up that morning.
I remember coming back into Moda Center for that second game against the Warriors and having no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
How are they going to look? What's Tiago Splitter going to look like? And then the team came out and just pounded the Warriors into submission. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Or you waking up thinking that the station had been shut down because you had missed calls from everybody under the sun. So
my phone was completely packed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I got home late because it was a Blazer game night. And so, I slept a little bit later than I normally would. So when I woke up, my phone was packed. I was like, what in the world's going on? Someone dying? And then you find out, like, oh, no, the coach was brought into a huge sting by the FBI. It's like, what?
It's funny. One of our texters says, I almost ran into Neil O'Shea while leaving the bathroom at Claim Jumper. I said, Neil O'Shea? And he just said, yep. And that was the entire conversation.
That's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, he's still, I think Neil's still he's still bumping around in the area.
Yeah, I know we did at NBC, we did a Zoom call with him one time. And
what?
It was like, it might have been like during, like,
was it during COVID?
I don't even know. I don't think so. I think it was just a Zoom call. We were doing interviews or whatever. Anyway, he jumps on, and he knows who I was because we've had one-on-ones in different settings. And at the time, I didn't have my camera on, so my picture was just me, like, putting my thumbs up like a Steve-O picture. And he just sitting there. He's like, hey, everyone got me, ball. I see this person. See some weirdo with his thumbs up. And I'm just, thanks, Neil. Like, just like, wow.
Weirdo with your thumbs up.
Some weirdo here with his thumbs up. Like, what? Like, okay, guy. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's great. Yeah, Rasheed. So that's your favorite all-time Blazer, Rasheed?
It's my favorite all-time Blazer. I loved Rasheed Wallace. Absolutely loved him, man. He was great. He was, like I said, before his time. That turnaround jumper of his down in the low post was filthy. Defensively, he was great. I mean, the Techs, they were fun. I don't even care. As a kid, I just thought Rasheed Wallace was cool. I liked him, and I liked Damon. I mean, Mighty Mouse. I was like, sweet, someone who's short like me. I stand a chance. Little did I know that you have to have talent to go with the lack of hype. But
his pops would come in and play racquetball at the club that I worked at for years. So I saw him every Saturday morning, his pops, which was cool. Now, who did I run into? Who's the guy that used to play? Oh, yeah, I've seen Terrell Brandon. He plays golf out at Heron a lot. So I've seen him bumping around. I've got a long list of Trailblazers that I love. Dame, Clyde, Jerome Kersey, Arvydas Sabonis. I got a long list of dudes. And Fat Lever, if you want to include him as a Trailblazer. I love Fat Lever. But I loved many different versions of the Trailblazers. But it was cool because back in the day, like when I was younger, I'd be down there on the boardwalk down there in downtown Portland by the water. And, Clyde was down there all the time with his family having dinner and stuff. What was the name of that place? It was a McCormick and Schmick's place right down there on the water. Harborside.
Okay.
He would be down there a lot. But the guys they were around town. I saw Jerome Kersey out at PIR all the time because I used to have a job where I'd hand time slips to the drivers. And Kersey was down with the races, so he'd be out there all the time.
Oh,
but
nice.
That was the first place I met him as a youngster. And I still got his – I was like – my buddy Jason I was working with, I was like, dude, I think that's Jerome. He's like, get out of here. So I ripped off a piece of, like, legal pad, the yellow paper, and grabbed a pen, and I ran up to him. I was like, Jerome, I love you. Can you sign this? He goes, sure. And he signed it, Jerome Kersey, number 25. I was like, you're a badass.
That's pretty cool.
All right, we'll keep things rolling. RipCityDrive live from Moda Center as we get ready for tip-off tonight. Bucks, Blazers coming up at 7 on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. first off, props to him for understanding my Ace Ventura 2 reference with, I didn't know the Wachutus were biters. So you knew that, which is great. But you just told me something amazing, that the rhino that Jim Carrey came out of, that Ace came out of the booty hole. Look, kids, the mother rhino's giving birth. That's sold at auction?
Yeah, for $60K. Someone has the rhino birth Jim Carrey, animatronic.
I would literally give $60,000 if I could have the opportunity to come out of the backside of the rhino like Jim Carrey and have a video film that I could send to my buddy Steve, because I know he'd laugh about it forever.
That is such a classic scene.
Because the way he just pops out and lays on the ground like he literally
starts like biting it, and then comes back in. It is. Oh, it's a good one.
That's one of those movies. Like for me and my buddy Luke, my workout partner, like we just. And I'm sure you do this with your buddies too. Like we just drop random movie quotes on each other for no particular reason at all times.
Yes. Oh, all the time. All the time. Half the time on game day or fifth quarter, I drop in Simpsons references and people will get them every once in a while. It's all the time.
It's literally one of my favorite things to do.
So yeah, as soon as you said that, I got it. It's
like he leaned over before I started my workout today. He leaned over as I was getting ready to start my first machine. He whispers in my ear, he's like, "Of course, how selfish of me." And I knew exactly what he was talking about. Let's do
everything you want to do.
Oh my gosh. $60,000 for the rhino?
Grand. There's an entire generation of people, and I am of that generation, who shish kebab, Shawshank Redemption, Chicago. You're out of there.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, like, when that movie, like when Ace Ventura 2 came out, like it was big time. Had to see it on opening night, man.
Bumblebee tuna.
With my help, he could be the best. So, dude, first night I went to the Vancouver Plaza. That was back before they had all the other theaters in town. I was like, we got to see this movie. And I was with my girlfriend at the time, Autumn, and they were sold out. And I was like, well, that doesn't work for me. So we bought tickets for some other movie and snuck into Ace Ventura and took seats up front because we had to watch it. And it was awesome. It was like one of those movies where like, okay, that was good.
One more step. Can you believe it?
Dude, that is it. Which one do you like better, the first or the second?
I like the second one better. The first one is Ace Ventura. I mean, I love the scene with the door. And he closes it and he just keeps screaming. Like, I don't know why. I love it. But the second one is just so quotable. I loved it as a kid.
Dude, it's so good. Like that, and for so many reasons that should not work a second time around, and yet it does.
And our chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. Like, come on. The whole movie's so good. Oh. They did not know about disease until the white man came.
Dude, it's so great. Do you have $1? That's so good. Of course. How selfish of me.
Like a glove.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
See, I get you. It took us this long to understand we had a shared interest in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Dude, it's so good. Like, if you tell me you don't like that, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I can't relate to that. But I love movie quotes are the best, man. Where's that thing?
Guano. They have guano.
No one said anything about a bat. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get a nice little quote in here. I love this kind of stuff, man. Sign me up for this. I love this.
Of course. How selfish of me. Let's do all the things that you want to do.
It's so good, dude. I love Ace.
Oh. It's so good, though.
Excuse me, did you say white devil, white devil? You speak what you do? Leave that part out. Oh, it's so good, dude. I love that. Now, if your girls watch that, would they like it?
I don't know if they would. I don't know. As a kid, I know as a kid, I always liked the scene when he's running away and like gets all the blow darts and he just full Jim Carrey just loses it. And so I'd sit there and I'd run around the house and I'd stop and I'd turn really fast and just let my arms flail. And when he gets the spears in his leg, like, come on, it's so good.
I love that, man. Hungry little fella?
Jim
Wait.
Carrey.
Don't get up. What about the Monopoly guy, too?
Oh, my gosh. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Ace Ventura. Oh, this is too good. Monopoly guy. See? Yeah, everyone knows. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's take a listen to this. Activist, yes. Me.
Excuse me.
Do not pass go.
That's quite a wrap you're wearing. Perhaps I could get you some fluffy new slippers made from the heads of innocent and defenseless baby seals.
Who is this ghastly man?
Ace Ventura, pet detective. And you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey, thanks for the free parking.
Another activist, McGuire.
Activist. Yes.
Activist, yes.
Mr. Ventura, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the fruits of nature. You should try it sometime.
Alrighty then. You know something? You're right. La da da
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
That's so good, dude. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
My life is better for having seen you today. Thank you. All right, Chris Burkhart's got Blazers game day coming up next, and then tip-off with the Bucks at 7 o'clock. I'll be back tomorrow for the Rip City Drive at 3 o'clock live from the BetMGM Sportsbook at Spirit Mountain Casino for Sweet 16 action, your place to bet on college sports. Game day's up next on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.